Greetings, exalted ones.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Noisy Boy here, and I'm back with another Star Wars Battlefront 2 tips and tricks video. And in today's one we're going to be doing how to not suck with Darth Vader. Yes, today I've got a hero guide for you guys, but just before we get started, if you guys are liking these tips and tricks videos, remember to smash the like button and support my channel. And if you're new to the channel, think about subscribing, because I'd love to hear your feedback and your comments in the comment section below. In this guide I'm going to break it up into different parts, just mentioning little things and quick tips on weapons, base traits, abilities, star cards for Galactic Assault and Heroes vs Villains, and just my own strategies and tips, just so you guys can actually dominate the Battlefront in Galactic Assault and Heroes vs Villains. And hopefully these will just help, so let's get it on and let's make some noise. Darth Vader wields his iconic red lightsaber, which is able to deflect multiple blaster bolts at the same time and easily able to chain your abilities together as one. Darth Vader's lightsaber can actually kill normal infantry within probably 2 to 3 swings, and when doubled up with focus rage becomes a wrecking ball and near impossible to stop. In my opinion, Darth Vader's lightsaber, especially doubled up with focused rage, is probably the strongest saber wielder in the game. That is definitely up for debate, but I consider him to be the strongest. Darth Vader's lightsaber also, just non-stop slashing, can slash up to about 9 times, and then he's out of stamina.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Darth Vader's base traits, he's obviously slow moving. He's pretty much one of those tanky kind of villains. He starts with 900 HP, which is the highest of all the heroes, but they can also be adjusted with star cards, which I'll mention later on. But because of his slow moving, he has high endurance with his HP, but he also has a lot of stopping power with his lightsaber, so just be aware of that, because even though he is slow moving, his actual jump itself has a nice little glide in it too, which is pretty sweet. Also, his side to side and backwards dashing are not too bad, a good way to actually close the gap. So just remember, guys, he's a good villain to actually get in there and distract a lot of heroes while the other guys do their job as well. So he's pretty much one of those tanky type heroes. High HP, high endurance, high defense, and a lot of stopping power. So let's get into Darth Vader's 3 major abilities: focused rage, lightsaber throw, and of course the famous force choke. Let's talk quickly about his first ability, Focused Rage. Darth Vader channels the dark side of the Force and focuses his rage. His melee strikes drain no stamina and deal a bonus damage. And when combined with this star card here, you take less damage too. So it's pretty much a good ability to go and clear a room and get the hell out of there. Next up is lightsaber throw. Darth Vader throws his lightsaber, cutting through and dealing damage to any enemies in his way. And when doubled up with these 2 star cards here, you can actually make Darth Vader a viable villain at range as well, which is probably his biggest weakness. Next up, his iconic force choke. Darth Vader chokes a cluster of enemies ahead of him, dragging them off the ground and through the air to drop them into danger. Just be aware, guys, that there's a bit of an animation with this one. I don't use this for damage, it's just the way I play, but if you combine it with these 2 star cards here and here, it can become a viable choice to deal a lot of damage over time. You just have to be aware of his animation and where your enemies are around you, because it only gets the enemies ahead of him, so be aware of that, guys. And for star cards for Darth Vader, I suggest these 3 star cards here in bonus health, Dark Lord, and Furious Resilience. Now obviously bonus health gives Darth Vader increased health, and at epic he gets 150 extra health on top of his 900 HP, so that gives him a whopping 1050 HP, which is a must have for both Galactic Assault and Heroes vs Villains. The second card I suggest for Heroes vs Villains is Dark Lord. Whenever Darth Vader defeats an enemy trooper, he regains 20 health. Whenever he defeats an enemy hero, he regains even more. So at epic level he gets 100 health points in return every time he kills one, so that is a must as well. The last one I suggest is a Furious Resilience. Darth Vader receives less damage while Focus Rage is active, and at the epic level he gets 25% less damage. So you've got health, you've got health regain, and you've got defense. Now oh my god, that makes him an unkillable force in Heroes vs Villains. Now when it comes to Galactic Assault, I suggest a different setup. You can still take a Dark Lord if you want, but that's optional, but I suggest having bonus health of course. Furious Resilience just to clear rooms, and I usually use Intensified Lightsaber Throw, only because he doesn't have range, which is where this comes in. Lightsaber Throw deals more damage to enemies hit by it in a second time around, so if you see a group of people, you throw your lightsaber and on the way back it does at epic 40% more damage, so near double the attack of a lightsaber throw second time around. But if you're not feeling this Furious Resilience, if you feel that there's too much of a gap between you and your enemy in closing, you could always pair up There Is No Escape with Intensified Lightsaber Throw. Now, There Is No Escape does a lightsaber throw travels farther, and at epic level it's 50% further, so as you can feel what I'm thinking, you can throw twice almost, well 50% further away, and on the way back it's 40% extra damage. With the bonus health, that is not a bad setup right there. So just to recap, we're going to go bonus health, Dark Lord, and Furious Resilience for Heroes vs Villains, and bonus health, Intensified Lightsaber Throw, and the third one can be optional, but I suggest having There Is No Escape. So having those two coupled up with bonus health for Galactic Assault is pretty damn solid right there. I will also make a special mention to Punishing Grip and Last Grasp. Punishing Grip does enemies that are choked will have a tougher time releasing themselves from Darth Vader's grip. And Last Grasp is Darth Vader deals more damage when choking 2 or more enemies. And at epic level that's 50% more damage. And at epic level it's 50% more damage, 50% harder to get of it. Now I find that his force choke animation in Galactic Assault especially is too long. Like these are good good benefits if you can get them right up to epic level, but I just find that because the animation is so long, somebody could just come up behind you and shoot you in the head, so I don't really suggest using those two for Galactic Assault. These can be viable in Heroes vs Villains if you're willing to stay in that animation. I suggest not to. I have got them up to, I think that's rare level, I think it is, but yeah guys, I have got those up, but at the same time I don't suggest using them, but I did want to make a special mention because they do a lot of damage. So there you go guys, those are the star cards I suggest using for Galactic Assault and Heroes vs Villains. Hopefully you guys agree with them. These are just my opinions and what I believe are good, so please be gentle, but that's what I suggest. So rock and roll.
You are as clumsy as you are stupid.
Okay guys, let's talk strategy and tips. Now for strategy, Darth Vader is not very good for open spaces. If you look out here, there's a lot of open spaces, a lot of places where people can perk themselves up and hide and hit you from a long distance away. That's what you want to try to avoid. Now stages like the second phase of Naboo and second phases of Camino and the Death Star and stuff like Hoth, or second phases and shit like that, when you come inside, now this is where his bread and butter is. This is where it'd be hard to kill Vader at, or you want to try and stick to these corridors here as much as possible. If you can find some cover, that would be good too. And remember to try, if you can, try to find groups. If you have to run and hide, do that as well, even though Darth Vader never hides and all that kind of stuff. But you really want to try and stay in close quarters where people can't go too far. So you know, you want to try and get to stuff like that. Pretty easy stuff to think about right there. When it comes to using your abilities, guys, what you can do actually is you've got this saber throw right here. Well, for those of you who don't know, this is a pretty basic tip. You can actually throw that in the air, but the second tip is when you throw it, you actually move around it, and you can actually hit other players too for Galactic Assault if you want to do stuff like that. But you've got this move too called Focused Rage, which is his massive buff. Now, one thing that a lot of people don't actually know is that in the Battlefront 2015 he could actually multitask, which is something he actually doesn't do in this one. So what you want to try and do is this. Activate it in the air. Just in time, fellas. Now if you can see there, I activated that in mid-air. Now what does that mean? Well, pretty much means one thing. When you're going into battle, run, activate it, and you get rid of that animation. As you can see, he drops pretty much to the air, so you want to find your guy. So here's another thing you want to do too, as just another tip and strategy, is when you're fighting against other players, when you run, throw, and then activate at the same time. As you can see, you can hit them and activate at the same time. So that's pretty much one thing you want to do if you get the chance to do it, because it's actually a really good tip to have and something that people don't expect. Because if you stand right here, see how long that animation is, you know, and if you're in mid-air, people can't actually, well, they can, but doing it in mid-air is something you really want to do. I'll show you guys again one more time. As you can see there was no animation at all. Pretty hefty little tip there. I'll show you guys one more time, because this one actually was probably the most handiest tip I can actually give to with Vader, because doing this, you don't actually get hurt, you don't get hindered by the animation. So let's see that. Oh, that's what you want to see. Another thing you can do, guys, is with his force choke, if you tap it twice, he drops him straight to the ground, you can just wail on him. Now when it comes to the force choke, which is the next ability, is what I usually do is that exact thing. Instead of actually using, that's why I don't use buff cards with oh look at that, with his force choke, because you don't really need to, because you've got such a long animation with it. I just double tap it, drop them straight to the ground, boom. I don't even use it for power-ups, I use it to immobilize people, and that's like a really handy tip right there. Another really handy tip, guys, is when if you put all those little tips together, you pretty much want to come up, throw that, hit him with this, wail on him like that, double tap force choke, and then just wail on him just like that. Look at these assholes. Let's see if I can do it on this guy here. And that's pretty much the sequence I go through. I wait for all my buffs to, you know, buff up. If I have to defend, just defend, but you really want to try and get all three of them up, because you can wail down on so many people in Galactic Assault, and especially heroes versus villains. That's something I use all the time. I'll show it one more time, guys. And then wail on them. And since you've hit them with your lightsaber throw, which puts down their life a little bit, and hopefully the returning saber can actually hit them as well to take a little bit more health off them. Then since you've got focused rage enabled, you wail on them, force choke with a double tap, and when they hit the ground, that's when you just finish them off. It works every single time. If you can get that whole sequence down, then oh my god, you guys just have no idea what that does. It can melt any hero, no matter who it is. Well, anyway, guys, that is probably my strategies and tips for Darth Vader. Hopefully you guys liked it, and if you want to see more of this Darth Vader, if you want to see more hero guides and stuff like that, smash the like button, leave a comment in the comment section below, because I'd like to hear your feedback and your comments in the comment section below. And if you wanna request a hero that I can look at, I'm pretty much going one light side, one dark side, and this is pretty much my first hero guide. So if you guys have any tips for me in doing these guides, I'd really like to know. What I might do as well, guys, is play a little bit of well, actually I've not done it already, but anyway, guys, if you did like this, remember to smash the like button, support my channel. I am your host, Noisy Boy. Thanks for coming on by, and as always, guys, stay noisy.